Okay, hello and welcome everyone to Yes And's Do Nothing and Thrive workshop, where we're going to be exploring the capacity of you that you've never known existed. Yeah. I'd love to do an acknowledgement to country and acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we're calling from, which is in Bali and Ubud at the moment, and also acknowledging all of the lands from which all of you are calling from. Recognizing their continued connection to land, water, and community, and paying our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So, regardless of which time zone you are calling in from, let's take a moment to simply be here. Yeah. Maybe we can dip into a little thriving as we do nothing. So, gently closing your eyes or allowing a soft gaze. If you're driving, choose not to do so. There's simply nothing to do. Notice the breath as it does what it has always done whilst in this life experience. Notice the movement without commentary. Simply notice. Giving yourself permission to fully be here now. Nothing to do. Nowhere to be. But here. Notice the weight of this body here. Notice any tension that eases as that part of the body arises within your awareness without you needing to do anything. Simply be. And live from here. Gently, whenever you're ready, opening your eyes. Okay, so in this session, we are going to explore the why of this workshop altogether and the why of why you have shown up here today. Then we're going to move into an open and highly interactive discussion. Yeah, this isn't about Sarah and I sitting here and delivering a whole bunch of content, but rather open discussion and interaction between all of us here. Moving into the art and science of doing nothing, and the process of inner work. Yeah. And then some Q&A at the end and integration piece. The integration piece is actually, for us, the most important piece of this entire workshop, rather than the 2 or 3 things that may be light bulb moments. However, it all depends on how you allow that into your life as to whether you're able to make it real for yourself. And so introducing you to Yes And's practitioners and coaches. So Lawrence Toy, who is unable to be here today over in the UK, Wales. Then there's Sarah, who will also be co-facilitating today, and myself, Dan Kalapsky. Our core purpose at Yes And is to shift consciousness for a more generative human presence on this planet. And that means more generative for the individual for the collective, for society, and for the planet altogether. If we can live in a way that fills the cup of here, and therefore able to be of greater service to the collective, and then also not extract from the planet, I think would be in a pretty good place there. So we're super fortunate to have a pretty strong community, the Yes and Coaching Circle. Some of those people on this call here today, and each person that is really looking inward and placing a mirror in front of themselves is not only doing the work for themselves, but for each person next to them and every single person that they come into contact with and interact with. So as you clear here, you clear all around you, the collective consciousness. Sarah.
So this question, why are you here? Right, so we asked this question and we can just slow down together. What made you come here tonight or morning or whatever it is for you? You can unmute and speak up if you feel moved.
I'm here because I've experienced what you're describing before, and I let it go when exploring it deeply as shame and guilt arose. And more recently, in the last 6 weeks, it's been arising again. So I'm looking to receive and to be a part of a field where there's sharing going on as well.
Beautiful, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Mr. Summertime, is that your name?
It's my surname's translation.
Sure. Thank you.
Anyone else? Feel free to place it in the chat box if you like.
The title of it resonates well, and also my previous memory of working with SN. So it's like, yeah, there's a connection for me to do the work and some type of motivation to engage with anything that will help me remember.
Thank you, Bridge.
Yeah, for me, the title, like Bridge, who doesn't want to do nothing and thrive? And I think through the work that I've been doing with you, I'm learning now with the business that I can do definitely less and thrive. We don't have to always be doing and then thriving. So yeah,
Awesome.
Okay.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think similar to you, Clinton and Bridget, there's something about what we call the modern life that is always telling us everywhere we go, work, education, that we need to be performing and doing. And when I saw the title of the workshop, was like, wow, this is so opposite from what we're always being told. We're always in that mood of doing, which is nothing wrong with it. But I think there's another part that we're missing. Well, I'm gonna talk with myself. I'm missing. So I was just curious to come and share and listen and learn more.
Yes, thank you, Nora. Thank you all for sharing. And it's really, you're all speaking to it in different ways. And this will land for you all in different ways. And if you've come here to get something, you can leave now.
Mm-hmm.
If you've come here to clear something and to let go of something, you might say, this is the right place for you. Because we are not adding to you. You can't be improving. You can't be better than what you already are.
You are already whole. Each of you, everyone on this call is already whole. It's just a matter of whether that's fully, genuinely, and deeply realized.
So we're gonna explore this doing thing that most of us are, like you said, Nora, most of us are distracted into this doing doing, right? It's a social conditioning, especially in the West. There's a conditioning where that is rewarded, you might say. And on an individual and social level, that's ingrained into our society, but it's on behalf of something deeper. I mean, we're going to explore that today, and that might be different for each of you.
And so, who here would love to live their life from a state of ease and deep relaxation at all times, whilst having everything that needs to be done, even if you don't believe it's possible? Hands up. Cool. So we're in the right place here. So pad and pen out, or simply typing it into your computer. To double would there. So what would it look like to thrive in your life? Yeah. What would it look like to thrive in your life? Has that even been explored? What does thriving mean to you? Taking a moment to, couple minutes to just let whatever comes through come through on paper if you can. As you get that down, what would it feel like? Really tap into that. What does thriving in life feel like to you?
How does the body feel? How does it feel? What's the sensation?
How would you describe the sensation? And as you get that down, what is currently stopping you from feeling that way? So if anyone wants to share whatever's come through for them, as much or as little as you like, feel free to do so. What does thriving look like? How would it feel? And what is currently stopping you from feeling that way, the way that thriving feels? We can even just go with, what does thriving feel like for you? If you were thriving in life, how would you feel summertime?
I'm happy to go first. So I've written that for me, thriving feels like playing, playfully co-creating and co-empowering with love, joy, and peace. And on my list is mass global change. I have a foundation that I've been brewing, and I felt like there's so many steps I have to do first. And for me, it's also about changing culture. I've been changing culture within myself and bringing parts of myself together and finding that my external environment is reflecting my inward sanity. And what's been stopping me is feeling like there's been a lack of certain skills, feeling guilt and shame around previous experiences that required integration of what was only information. I know my community team is forming, and I have a feeling like I've been pushing in the past more than listening and following the current of my present intentions, magical unfolding.
Thank you. And what are the thoughts that are generating those feelings of doubt? Yeah.
That it's going to take time. I mean, I can perceive steps, and in the last few weeks, it's like a lot of the steps are being cut down smaller, which is nice. And so I'm still using words like trust is building as opposed to using present tense, that the trust is there now. And so I feel like even in those moments, there's a guilt and shame that I'm like lacking the sufficient skill in the moment of reprogramming. And then it's like, why am I reprogramming? If it's here now, then it's here now.
And if those thoughts were to no longer be there, then what would happen? Were those thoughts necessary to create those smaller chunks, those smaller steps?
Yeah, true. I hear what you're saying. Yeah. They're definitely, the second guessing is creating specificity and deeper feeling in my internal environment, which is creating greater connection and engagement. So yeah, thank you.
And is the second guessing you? Is that you?
It has been, yeah.
Who is it? Yeah.
It's voices of the past, of family members, of people.
And is that you? Is that you?
When I've been repeating it to myself, then yes.
And so who's repeating it to who? Yeah. So the essential you, yeah, the one that is aware of the voices happening, could it possibly experience doubt? Or is doubt simply based on the paradigms that have been handed to us and the conditioning? You said it so perfectly, of those in the past, yeah, parents, partners, teachers, yeah. So we hear those voices, but if that was you, then who is the one hearing those voices? Yeah.
Oh, you got me.
And so it's not that we can't be having those voices happening, but to see them for what they are. to simply let them arise and fall away in the same way that a cloud would, or a bit of tumbleweed that passes. And that's the do nothing. That's the do nothing and thrive.
I have a piece with this doing nothing. It's like I'm a process that's happening, and so if I do nothing, then I'm dying. And I know if I'm dying, I can rebirth, and then I'm in a linguistic maze with myself.
So you're not actually doing anything. The process is taking place regardless of whether of your doing. Yeah, you're not doing. That's the same voice that believes that it is doing something. It huffs and it puffs until it believes that it's doing something, but it's only a belief that it's doing something whilst the process is taking place regardless. Yeah, that is far beyond powerful, far beyond the comprehension of the cognitive mind. Yeah, and it's just.
I hear this, and I know the extremist side of myself. And this morning when I woke up, I was remembering one of my teachers who said that on his way to attaining where he was at, he, for like 3 or 4 days, didn't move from bed. He shit the bed, all these different things happened. And I was like, oh, I've got a camping mattress. Like I can do that if I want to.
Yeah, sure. So, my challenge that comes up super often. Yeah. Well, do we become a recluse and go off onto a mountain and stay there for the next 60 days? Yeah. So it's very similar to people who try and quit something. So you have cigarette smokers who are super busy in mind. Oh, I need that next cigarette. I need that next cigarette. I need that next cigarette. Then they go to quit cigarettes, right? And then they're constantly like, okay, no, I'm not going to have that cigarette. I'm not going to have that cigarette. They're just as busy doing not having the cigarette as they were when they were having the cigarette. So when both of those fall away, yeah, what's available then? And it's not about becoming a recluse at all. Yeah.
It feels like it's staying in presence and awareness and following where I'm being pulled magnetically in the moment, and I'm pulled to be here, and that's why I'm here.
You are here because it is happening, and it is simply happening. Just don't identify, and we'll go through a quote from Ram Dass, with the actor, with the role that's being played. Don't identify with that. You're here because it's happening. Yeah. And there's, just looking at your body and that breath out, that sigh, that relax, that happen. That's it. That's all we're talking about. Yeah. That's thriving there. That's the essence of thriving. Your nervous system just gave you a big fucking hug. Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Anyone else would like to share what it feels like to thrive? We said highly interactive, so thank you for jumping in there.
No worries.
I can share.
Go for it, Bridge.
Mine would be being in service whilst bringing in the finances to feel as though I'm safe, but also knowing that that's probably an illusion in itself. But then also being able to do my own thing with my own schedule, with the comfortability of being able to support myself. So just like combining that, and what's stopping me is the comfortability of the current full-time job that I'm in.
And so
that's playing out there.
the middle step, how does it feel? How would it feel to thrive?
It will just feel true, arising out of joy and nothingness, rather than the potential that, well, I know that I'm telling myself stories each day about work, about what's happening. And I feel like that's me stating myself to go to work, or seemingly. Like there's just a whole bunch going on for me within the job that I'm in.
Yeah, so you mentioned, Bridget, you're comfortable, and that's the comfortability is the thing that's stopping you, right? Can you say more about that?
Comfortability because I know the people that I work with, and it feels like I can sort of just be more flexible. And if I was to, and there's also financial comfortability. And then there's an attachment to the people that I work with because of my relationship with my boss. And then there's an uncomfortability with not seeing my boss every day because of the gap that it's filling within me. There's like some type of, is it to do with my childhood, I believe. Because my boss is like a mother figure to me, and it's been quite a big thing that I've seen fully. So the loss of that keeps me there as well. So it's comfortable there for my safe, like more so safe as well.
Mm-hmm. And in what way is it uncomfortable to stay there?
When I feel probably like I feel really a bit quite heavy, like just like not as light. If I'm comparing, not as light as I used to be. It's just like heavier in the head, a lot more. Just like, and there's a lot more going on in the very chaotic environment, and everyone within that environment, they speak like this, and it's like really fast, and everything's quite like, it's like they thrive off, the environment is thriving off being busy, basically. So that's the uncomfortable part. Like everyone thrives off coffee and being busy, and the idea of the corporate, let's get things done. So that's the uncomfortable part for myself.
And can you get comfortable with the uncomfortableness of that?
Yes. It just might feel like I'm not fitting in as well. So there's not as much belonging to the energy of everyone else.
Right, so then it's just move up or move on. Or get super comfortable in the busyness, or move on.
Also, Bridget, what your response there also presupposes that for you to get comfortable with the uncomfortable would mean to no longer be able to play the role, no longer be able to meet the requirements that are necessary in that role.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That's somewhat true. And also a sense of there's still things playing out with achievement. So there's a sense of like I'm achieving things when I go to work.
So is it actually true that it's not possible to be comfortable in the face of the role and the doing and all of that? Is that actually true? That it's not possible to be comfortable in the face of all the doing?
No, that's not actually true. I could definitely be comfortable in the face of that.
Often it's the resistance to the resistance. That's the actual resistance, and not the actual busyness, but the resistance towards the busyness that is making the uncomfortability.
And as Sarah said, it doesn't mean that we can't make choices or decisions around that. Okay, this place just simply isn't healthy for me. Or actually, once I dropped all of the resistance to it, it was completely fine. Yeah, but you need to try that on for yourself.
But I feel like personally behind that, even itself, there's deeper things playing out with the reason why I'm at the job, because of, well, for me, it's like the aversion to the feeling that I used to have when I wasn't working, and feeling a bit lost and uncomfortable because I wasn't in a routine and I wasn't doing anything. And I was going through a lot of healing. So there's an aversion, as though if I finish at the job, then I'll be uncomfortable again. Like I won't have a purpose.
Yeah.
For sure. And so the work there is to find that stillness, spend time in stillness, see what's arising, be in full watchfulness of it without the commentary about it, and clarity as to what the next step is. If there's a next step, will simply come online for you. Sometimes, as you've experienced yourself, having the mirror of a mentor or a coach helps tremendously because we can't see our blind spots. But there's also a lot of work we can do of our own accord. And so how good are you at doing nothing? Let's have a go now.
I did consider skipping coming on the call so that I could pass with flying colors at doing nothing.
That would have been a 10 out of 10. Let's give it a go now, yeah? And just notice any thoughts or feelings, uncomfortability or otherwise. Thoughts of how long are we actually going to do this for? Thoughts of, okay, cool, I've got it. Let's just start getting on with it. Noticing the energy associated with that. The body wanting to move. And even if there is a thought, a feeling, the urge in the body to move, just soften around that. Yeah, that's it. Just soften. We don't need to do anything about that arising. Rest into you, what you truly are. Yeah, that's why it's always available. Yeah, soften the body, relax.
Bridget was pointing to it, where most constructs, most people stay busy in society to avoid being with themselves because that's uncomfortable. Just simply being here in the space with yourself, in this case also with what seems to be other people, but just with yourself, because it's scary. And there's fear, and it is. Who said this? Someone pointed to dying. It feels like I'm dying. Who said this? Because it's all about survival, staying busy, staying on the go. It's not about thriving. It's about surviving. Is that on behalf of you or on behalf of service? And obviously, we need a roof above our head and food on the table, etc., etc. But there's a space beyond the mind and body, identity, where that can still all happen, but there's no identification and restriction in that. So it's not coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of abundance, you might say. And that abundance is found in the silence behind the doing. A rock is perfectly being a rock. It's not doing the rockness. Just be human. Be a human being, not a human doing, right? Human being.
Imagine a lion rocks up to your front doorstep, knocks on the door. Actually, this lion can stand on 2 feet. Knocks on the door. You open the door, and it's just there looking at you, saying, please, please, can you help me? You're like, with what? Well, I'm on the search to find myself, to figure out how I can be fully lion, how I can be more lion. And you're standing there looking at this lion, going, you seem to be doing a pretty damn good job of being a lion, because I'm shitting myself right now. It's no different with each of us. The only difference between us as human beings and animals is that we have this little part in our minds that props up with voices, and it's the only difference. It's the only difference.
And it's preparing for the seemingly future that actually doesn't exist. Preparing for the next moment that only lives in mind. There's only this moment. You can't actually, only the mind can go into the future and can prepare itself for what seems to be coming, which we never know. So it's preparation, it's survival. It's not thriving. And most of the collective society is in that state, right? But so it takes courage to step out of that currency, you might say, or that force, that pull, and step out of it, and feels almost like you're going the other direction, right? It almost feels like not participating in that and going the other direction, but it's not. You can still participate, but it's just from a very, very different energetic point.
So once again, for anyone on this call or anyone watching this recording, we are not saying go through your entire life sitting on that blow-up mattress doing nothing. Yeah. Don't plan in life. Don't plan your week. Don't plan for a business or for what might be lying ahead. All of that's possible. But as Sarah's saying, what's the energy behind it? What is it on behalf of? Fear? Yeah. Are you relaxed in the middle of that planning? Or is it like, oh, I want to get this done so that then I can relax? There isn't a then I can relax. Each of you within this call have already given yourselves permission to relax, yeah, despite there being thought, feeling, and whatever else happening for you. Physically relaxing, yeah? That's available to you. Every moment, yeah? Let's just say you hear the news from a loved one, that a loved one has passed away. You might think, well, how the fuck am I supposed to relax in that moment? Yeah. However, amongst all that might be arising in the face of that news, an openness and a softness around that actually places you in a much, much better position to fully process what is happening and to process that news, actually. And it doesn't mean to reject what is arising, but even in that moment, to relax. Yeah. Or if there's a stressful situation, the child needs help, how am I supposed to It might be an emergency. You can have all of that tension arising, but if you can relax that excessive layer of tension, if you can remove that, let that fall away and relax around it, guess what? You're going to make better decisions. You're going to be able to support in a much more powerful way in that moment.
And the only reason why it's not possible to relax in certain situations is because of conditioning somewhere from the past in your life. It has been told to you, or you've bought into the idea that that's not possible, that you need to work hard, or and it's just not actually never good enough, right? It's just never actually then good enough. So it takes process, and it takes time to truly work through the non-relaxation, you might say, the constriction, and it takes a massive amount of distractions to clear, as well as in the environment around, watching Netflix, being busy with friends, drinking beer, smoking, doing lots of yoga, whatever. Anything can be a distraction, and then the distraction from the thoughts and the feelings as well. So there's a process to it, right? It's not, there is a process to it, and we want to acknowledge that process, but it is possible to live from a completely relaxed state all of the time, even in the most challenging moments. And actually it's already happening for you. It's just that you might not see it right now because the distraction into the contraction is too big. Behind you is a space, you can feel into it now. Behind you is a space that's always relaxed, that's always open and always soft. That's always there, and that's actually what you actually are. But the distraction of the mind pulls you out of that constantly, moment by moment. And if we don't bring awareness to these structures of mind and body, it's gonna have us. Right? So it's leaning back, like physically you can do it. You can lean back and you feel it. You can feel just behind your body. It's just a space that is just always relaxed, and it's always watching. Whether there's something being done or not, it doesn't matter. It's just always relaxed. And it's possible to live from that place.
Let's let it be a practice to take half a step back. Yeah. In moments where you're feeling like you need to be in there and be doing it. But see if you can take half a step back and live from there. And let's challenge this idea, right? Or let's challenge this realization for us. Is there anything at all, any task in the world where you feel it would not be useful to do so from a place of being relaxed? And we're not saying absolute relaxed. 100-meter sprinter, if they're not relaxed, optimal performance isn't happening. Surgeon, not relaxed. So
the muscles can be engaged, or there's an engagement still, but there's a relaxation in the engagement. You might experience, if you have ever experienced flow states, right? When you're painting or drawing or you're dancing or surfing or whatever it is, in that flow state, there's a full engagement, there's a full doing happening, you might say. There's all the doing happening, but there's just such a relaxation around it that it's just chill.
So we're going to move along, yeah. Beautiful quote from Ram Dass. Do what you do because it's what you do, but do it without identification with being the actor, and do it without attachments to the fruits of the action. So live life fully, go for it 100% with no attachments. That's the art. Yeah, that's the art and the practice. And then to clear the limiting beliefs that aren't allowing that to happen already, naturally. Whoop. Another one from Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching. So he does nothing and nothing is left undone. sure he also meant she, but he does nothing and nothing is left undone. Very quickly, without going into this too much, science is catching up with what we're speaking to here. This is from a very physical perspective, the body, to have the body thriving and also all the systems within the body. Science is now able to map out what happens when beta brainwave frequency is our go, go, go emergency focus. Yeah, that's when you're getting shit done. Okay. The issue is, as we've mentioned here already, most of Western society is spending most of their day here without stepping out of that. And even at this level of getting shit done, what's possible is a layer of relaxation around all of the doing. And then as you go into a deeper and deeper and deeper relaxation, the benefits here. So alpha is, say, soft focus, reading a book. Information processing happens here, relaxed memory and creative flow states, serotonin production increase, and reduced cortisol, so stress hormone. So I would say that contributes to thriving. Then you go even deeper into a meditative state, deep relaxation, meditation. This is where emotional processing occurs, intuition, new information, memory consolidation, enhanced immune function, neurochemicals, including vasopressin and catecholamine. So again, the health of this physical body here starts to thrive as we deepen into a relaxation and live our life from there. We do not have to be on the side of a pool sipping on a cocktail or whatever to relax and go on a holiday. This can be happening and is available to us all the time. And then delta, which is deep dreamless sleep. Pain relief occurs here, immune function again, and healing, anti-aging hormones. So longevity really comes online here, cortisol reduction, and pituitary release of human growth hormone, so the repair in the body. So for anyone that appreciates the science, where are we for time? We have 10 minutes. We have enough time. We'll do a shortened version of it. So we're going to give you a technique here, and it's a practice of doing the breathing whilst being aware of it and relaxing whilst in the midst of the doing. Okay, it's called the 20 breath technique. So you're going to do 5 sets of 4 repetitions. Yeah, we'll start off with, rather than doing 5 sets, we're just going to do a set of each channel. So we're going to start off nose, mouth. Yeah. Then the next one we're going to do will be mouth, mouth. And then the next one will be nose, nose. And all we want you to do is just notice how you're feeling. And whilst you're in the doing, relax, relax, relax. And then when you go out into your day in the doing, relax, relax, relax. And so starting with in through the nose, out the mouth, we're going to do 5 repetitions. And on the 5th one, all the way in and then all the way out. Okay? On the count of 3, 2, 1. All the way out. Notice already any shift in how you're feeling and relax around the doing. We're going to go mouth, mouth now. In. All the way. Relaxing, noticing how you're feeling. Now we're going to go with nose, nose. Ready, go. All the way in. And out. Keeping your eyes closed. Notice how you're feeling. Gently opening your eyes whenever you're ready. That is a practice of relaxing in the face, doing, yeah? Doesn't mean you can't do. Normally, you would do 4 sets for each channel that we just did there. So take that and maybe practice straight after this call. Yeah, so 4 sets of 5 repetitions of nose, mouth, and we'll send this to you as well. Mouth, mouth, and nose, nose.
In general, it's really powerful to become aware of the breath whilst you're, for example, working on your laptop or in the midst of doing, right? The breath is always here in the present moment. So just becoming aware of how you're breathing when you're finding yourself going up in energy, you can downregulate yourself really, really quickly by using the breath.
And so pen and paper out, integration. What we are most passionate about is supporting people in making this rule for themselves, whether it be the one-on-one coaching that we do, group coaching, the breath sessions that we run, or the retreats that we run. So pen and paper out. And the first question is what? What were 2 or 3 key insights that came through for you from this call here? 2 to 3 key awareness pieces there. What came through? Trusting whatever it is, the first thing that comes to mind. Yeah. Often where the mind can look to dictate and and brush away the first thing that arises. However, that tends to be the most accurate thing. No, that's not good enough. No, we had a few time mix-ups. We did have 23 people sign up for this, so people are jumping in now. We might say hello to them and they'll have the recording. And given that insight or learning, so what? So what does that mean to you? What would that mean to you in your life? And now what? So you've had that insight that's come through, that clarity. You've written down what that would mean to you in your life. Moving forward, today, tomorrow, what's going to be different? What's the difference that is going to make the difference? It might not only be about what you're going to do, but what might you stop doing? How are you going to make it real for you in your life, that insight? It came to you for a reason, yeah? It could be 1,000 people sitting on this call and something different landing for each person. And so for those on this call and also people watching the recording, we will be offering up a complimentary one-to-one integration call. So a 30-minute call where we'll jump on with you and go through what you've been looking to apply or actually remove from your life and support you in making this real for yourself. Yeah. Answering any questions that you specifically had on this call. We can go deeper into those questions in that call. So please take us up on that. Make use of us. I am going to I'm going to take a moment now. So please, if you're interested in that call, jump into this sheet now. Take 2-3 minutes to find a time that works for you and place your name and email in there. And we'll send you an invite for that. If you're currently in one-on-one coaching, then you can cover this in the one-on-one coaching call. We will welcome Amanda in and let her know next steps are from here. So thank you, everyone. If you've had a chance to do that, that's great. And we'll jump on that call with you and look to answer any questions that you may have had. Please feel free to email us as well. We have a retreat coming up at the end of December where we go into restlessness, the polarity of restlessness, aversion, attachment, life, death, and slothfulness as well. There will be breath work at that retreat and incredibly delicious food, as well as a 24-hour period of silence to simply notice and really ground our capacity to do nothing and thrive. Yeah, any questions, let us know. And yeah, we'll see you next time. I might stay, Amanda, if you can stay on the call, that would be great. And I'll just have a chat with you there. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, guys.